Hi everyone, and how are you? My name is Jane Nganga. Jane Nganga is a mother of two. I have a 22 years old going to 23, and I have a daughter who is 16 years old. In January she'll be 17 years, and I'm a widow. I'm a single mother, a widow. My husband is a deceased. He died in 2016, and I was born in Nanyuki. My dad was an OCPD and my mom was a business lady. But 2 years after I was born in 1979, September, 2 years after they separated, and we were taken to the village. Our village is in Gilgil. My mom's village is in Gilgil. That's where my grandpa used to live and my grandmother, because they are both deceased. And so when we were taken there, I was very small and I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what happened between my mom and my dad. And life was so much unbearable because the villagers decided to take advantage of us because they knew there was no one to fight for us. And my grandmother was somehow mentally retarded. So she couldn't fight for us, and actually there was so much hate in her, but I couldn't understand. She was in so much pain because my mom left us and disappeared completely. She never came back until when we were in class 7. So at that point I decided, I used to do a lot of working for the villagers, grazing for my grandfather, cows and sheep, together with my sisters and my brother. I was the fifth born in the family, so I was the small one. I was the young one there. And so the house we were living was a thatched mud house. So we were living there, all of us, my grandmother, my siblings, and we were all sleeping on a safari bed, a very small bed, the 5 of us. So it was the small one, so they used to put me on the top. And that's where the calves and the sheep and everything, and they used to be put in the house in the evening. So my grandmother didn't care about the school. So one day, as I was going to graze my grandfather's cow, I used to see kids going to school, and I used to feel so bad because I was like, now, when will I go to school like other children? And so I decided to leave the cows in the field and I went to school. I came back, I was beaten by my grandmother, but my grandfather told her if she wants to go to school, then fine, just leave her alone. So the following day I told my sister, now let's go to school. That's how we enrolled in primary. As we went straight to class 1. Those days they didn't have so much issues like today that you have to report with books, uniform, and all that. Those days we used to write on the floor, and we didn't need books. That time books was not an issue. So we used to write them on the floor. The school was from 10 to 3 p.m. so there was not much hassle. So, but the school fees were, those days we used to pay the school fees, and there was no one to pay our school fees. So we used to go for casual labors as young as we were, so that we can be able to pay our school fees until class 7, when my mom came back home from town. Because when they separated with my dad, it's like she got depressed. And when she went to Gilgil town, she started doing, she was a barmaid. So you can imagine, she was drinking, she was smoking, she was doing all that. So when life became unbearable in town, she decided to go back home. And when she came home, a few months later, she gave birth to our last born brother. And the same time my sister gave birth, so we had 2 children to take care of. And then my mom, to keep up with the standard, with the town standard, she started selling changa. And we were the one to sell that changa because most of the time she was drunk. So we are the one to serve those guys. Thank God we were never raped. And we are the ones to go and buy the changa from a very, very far from home. And so my mom told us, you can't go to school. You have to drop so that you can, whatever you get from casual laborers, we can share at home. So because I loved school, and I was actually a prefect, and I was so much respected by the teachers. They loved me so much because I was a performer. So I couldn't stand the shame to be at home selling changa. Already my mom had spoiled our name with selling changa and doing all those things. So I decided, let me leave the place. I had to run away from home, and I went to a nearby town where I started talking to strangers. The nearby town is Gilgil, and I asked them to give me a job. And of course, which job? A house girl. Because I was very young. I was 13 years old. So I told her, I got a lady by the name of Maton. She had 4 children. They were small, all of them. So, and this house, I remember, since I was born, I've never seen a cemented house. So, and even flashing toilets, that was so new to me. So working there was very difficult. But this lady was not patient with me. She used to beat me a lot. And I remember over a day when she told me, they used to live in a civil servant houses. She was working in NYS. So those civil servants, they had a lot of cockroaches. Even if you spray in your house, within 1 week, then they are back because they are coming from other houses. So she told me, you are the one to kill all these cockroaches. And she used to tell me after I'm done with house chores at night, she used to tell me, and the bed I was sleeping, there was no mattress. So she used to tell me, wake up after 1 hour, you go beat the cockroaches from the table, from the kitchen stand, and then you flush them down. So that's what I used to do. And if I forget to wake up for that 1 hour and do the necessary, she used to come and beat me. She used to beat me so much. And she used to pay me only 200. So I decided, I reached to a point and I was tired. Because even this money is not helping me. My mom used to come every end of the month and pick the money and go. So I decided, let me now quit this job. And that's what I did. I decided to go back home. And when I went back home, the life was still the same as I left. And so I couldn't stand that kind of life. So I didn't know what to do. I went back to the familiar place I'm used to, which is Gilgil Town. I went back there again, and as usual, started talking to strangers and asking them to give me a job. I told them I can work as a house girl. So I learned to this lady. That lady was an angel to me. She was, her name is Mama Koi. So Mama Koi told me, it's okay, I'll give you a job, and she used to take care of me. I told her what was happening in the other house, and she actually paid me well. I can't complain, because that time getting 700 as a salary was too much for me at that time. So, and she used also to buy me clothes, take care of my hair and all that. And she brought life in me. She brought life in me because it reached to a point that I thought there is no love in this world. Actually, I didn't know what it means to be loved. I didn't know. I had no idea. And I didn't know if there is God, because I was like, now, if then there is God, why do we suffer this much? So that lady brought life in me, and may the Lord bless Mama Kui. But after 1 year, they got a job or a green, I don't know, but a citizenship in London. And they left. They left, and I went back to square one, home, where there is no peace, no love, no nothing. So, but I didn't have a choice. Home. I didn't have any other place to go. So I just went back home, and I went back to the same life, selling changa. My mom always fighting with my sister because she's always drunk, and she was so irritating. But I love her so much because she changed. Later on, after a long time, she changed. So that's when I decided now to run away and not go to Clinton town anymore. So I went further. I came to Nairobi. There's a lady in our village who used to work in Nairobi. And I told her, that I want to go to Nairobi. And since I don't know if we have relatives in Nairobi, I didn't know by that time because there were my cousins here, but I didn't know about them. By that time. So I told her I'll pay her bus fare so that we come to Nairobi, stay to her people's place as we look for a job. So that's what we did. We came to Nairobi, and we started trying to look for a job, but it was hard for me. Remember, Mama Koi took care of me so well. So I was looking nice, not like a house girl. So every married woman could not give me a job. I don't know how they saw me at that time, but no one was willing to give me a job. But eventually I got one at Nairobi West. The lady was so good. She was a school teacher, and her husband was working. I don't know. I can't remember. He was working as a what, but they were both working, and they had 3 kids, which were all going to school. So during the day, I used to be left in the house. So one day, this gentleman, the father, the guy in the house, decided he's not going to work. And as usual, I used to, because I did, that lady was so good, so she used to do everything in her bedroom. So as I was doing my house chores, I couldn't touch the bedroom, so I didn't know there's anyone there. Only to see him coming out of the bedroom, and I was like, oh, I thought they all left, but anyway, I didn't know he had other thoughts. So he told me, take this money, go buy soap, bathing soap, and when you come, put it in the bathroom. And he opened the door, his bedroom door, and he went back to the bedroom. So me, I rushed to the shop, I bought the soap, the bathing soap. I came back and I went straight to the bathroom. When I opened the bathroom door, I found him naked, completely naked, and he was facing me. It's like he was waiting for me. So I screamed. I was so shocked. I screamed and I dropped the soap and I ran out of the house. Of course, he couldn't follow me because he was naked. So, but and I didn't have a phone that I can tell the lady what has happened. And I was so scared to go back to that house because I had no idea what. Okay, I thought maybe he can beat me or kill me because I've seen him naked. So I was so scared I couldn't go back to that house. So I loitered around during the day because it was in the morning, so I didn't have anywhere to go. The lady who brought me to Nairobi, when she went back home. So, and those days we didn't have a phone so that you can call and tell them what has happened. So I was just there walking around the estate and at the shops, and trying to look if there's one who can give me a job. But unfortunately that day I was not lucky. So at the evening, and remember I left everything, my clothes and everything in that house. So the evening came, I have nowhere to go, I have nowhere to sleep, so I went to sleep under the bridge. That's where I slept through the night, and I thank God no one touched me, or maybe no one noticed that I was there. So in the morning, and the night was very cold, so in the morning, I started again asking people, because I couldn't imagine that I would sleep on the same place at night. So I started asking people, ladies only. I was not talking to men, I was talking to ladies only, and asked them if they can give me a house girl job. So I landed on this one lady. Her name was Wamboi. She was Wamboi, and she connected me with another lady called Wamboi. So she told me, I shared with her, I told her everything about what happened, and she told me, it's okay, me I don't have a job, but there's a lady called Wamboi in our place and she needs a house girl. So what you do, because it's too early and you have not taken anything, let me take you to my place. The house was not far from where I slept. So she took me there. I took, and she gave me tea. She told me, you sleep kidogo and then I'll come for you at around 10 a.m. So take shower, change, these are the clothes. She was very big, but I could fit into her clothes because I was not also very small. So she gave me the clothes. I took shower, I refreshed, and then I freshened up, and then I slept. She came for me at 10. She had already shared with the other one boy about the house girl in her house, and I thank God she was never scared of me. She didn't feel like maybe I'm a con or anything. So she found me deep asleep. She woke me up and she told me, Wambui is ready. Wambui is the lady is so excited. Let's go to school. So when I went there, when that lady saw me, she told me, you know what? You don't deserve to be a house girl. You don't look like one. So I will help you so that you can remember me throughout your life. So we went. She was a single lady. She had one child, a boy called Lilly. May the Lord bless Willie and Mama Willie and your brother Josie. So I went there, I found her. The boy was so good, very small, and she enrolled me in a dressmaking course. So I used to take the child to school in the morning, and then I go to do my course. And that's how after a few months, after I think 7-8 months, I was already, I could do what was supposed to be done. So she told me, now I want to look for a job. I want to connect with someone in the industry area. There's a lady who used to have a company, and a big company. They used to do mass production clothes. So I was employed there, and that's how I from that point, I never worked as a house girl anymore. I rented a house in Lungalunga. Lungalunga is one of the biggest slums in Kenya. So I rented a house there. I partnered with one of my friends. She was called Nyambura, and we started staying together. And of course, as young girls, I was around 18 years. Yes, I was around 17, 18 years. So as young girls, with all the freedom, I got a child. Then I went back to the stress that I used to have. And after 1, 2, 3 years of staying alone, that's when I got this man who is a deceased, my husband, who is now a deceased. And when I met him, because when I gave birth to my son, and with that stress, I decided to give my life to Christ because the stress was too much and I couldn't afford to go back home. Though by that time my mom had changed, but he was still living in that Kasmoro Matope house. I didn't want to go back there because I had bad memories about our place. So I decided, let me work hard, let me see what I can do so that I can raise my son. And I gave my life to Christ so that God can help me. So that's what I did. I went to church, and after giving my life to Christ, I I developed a very burning passion to serve God, and I started preaching at that early. I started preaching in 2000. That time I was around 20 years. Started preaching in Kibera, and 2003. That's when I got married to Julius. What I came to learn few weeks after I got married is that my husband was a wife bachelor. He used to beat me, used to beat my kid. He was a violent man. I think he had a painful experience in the past. I don't know, because he acted like he was a good person, but again the bad part. He was so extreme, bad extreme and good extreme. So that's why I was not able to read the red flags, because he will beat me and the second minute he's so good, so good. He will apologize. He'll go to the floor and apologize. So I decided, I prayed more. But I advised him, I wanted to go to school, to go to Bible school, because even if I had a church in Kibera, I had no much knowledge about the Bible and all that. So he said, it's okay, you can leave the child with me and I'll go to Bible school. I'll be paying your school fees and the upkeep. And so that's what I did. I went to Bible school, and I left him with my son. The first term when I went to Bible school, coming back home, my son had shrinked. As in, he was cold. He looked scared and I didn't know why. Kumbe, when I left to college, my husband used to sodomize my son. And he was threatened not to tell me anything. But when I came, I think he stopped, because I didn't see any sign of what he was doing to him. Because I left him with the house girl who was a day scholar. So she didn't know. I used to ask her, what happens to him when you are with him? He says, no, he's in school, because he had joined baby class. When I left to Bible school, he had joined baby class. So when I was coming back, he was now going to pre-unit. He was in middle class, because I stayed there for 1 year, though I used to break every after 3 months and come for holiday for a whole month, then I go back. So after that, my husband continued with his life, to beat me, to abuse me, he used to call me names, and he had a girlfriend. When I came back from Bible school, I realized that they had connected back with his former girlfriend, who used to live in the UK. And this lady used to flash him with a lot of money. He actually bought him a car. And every weekend used to get a lot of money. That lady used to send her a lot of money. And they had tried to apply for UK visa, but he got denied 3 times. And that's when, so when I learned about the relationship, again, I felt so bad, because my husband was saved. He used to love God, but I don't know what was happening with him. That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe he had a painful experience in the past, and that's why he was doing this to us. So he gave the lady the number, because they were trying all means to remove me out of the equation so that they can be together. I remember by this time when I came back from Bible school, I gave birth to my daughter. So right now I have 2 kids and they're trying to eliminate me, and I don't know what to do. So I decided, let me put up with it, because I have nowhere else to go. I don't know what to do. In 2006, I remember one time he had lost a friend who was like a spiritual father to him. And this friend, he used to live, the parents used to live in Ziwani, so that's where we were going for the morning sessions. I mean, maombolezi. So one time we were coming from that place, and it was late at night, at around 2 a.m. And the car we had, the car that was bought by the girlfriend, broke down. And he said, we are not going anywhere. We will stay here in the car. We were 3 of us, me, him, and the friend, and another friend of him. And we wait until morning so that we can get the mechanics to make my car. So I told him, no, this place is so dangerous. So it's not good to risk our lives, because lives are more important than this vehicle. So he said that nimeongea vibaya because I don't like the girlfriend, and I'm jealous because the girlfriend bought him the car. So this other guy, his friend, said, no, Jane is very right. Me, I can't stay here. There was a petrol station nearby. So he said, let's push this car to the petrol station, and then we leave it there. You'll come in the morning. And because he couldn't argue with the friend knows him, because they've been friends since they were young. So he said it's okay, but he knew that I'll have to pay for what I said. So we left the car there. We took a cab to home. When we got home, my husband was breathing fire. And I knew this is one of the days that I will be beaten thoroughly, because of what I said, that life is important than the vehicle. So when we got in the house, I decided, he went straight to the sitting room. I decided, let me go to the kitchen, because I was so scared. I could tell that he will beat me. So I said, let me warm the food, and then after, maybe by the time I'm going to the sitting room, he will be okay. The pressure will be gone down. But that was not the case. So when I was still in the kitchen, our house had a very small window between the kitchen and the sitting room. So he threw the remote, the TV remote. He was targeting to hit me, but it came and hit the wall and it crashed. So I knew, sasa, now, this is the day. This is one of these days. Because I was used to it. He used to beat me anytime he wants, for very small issues. So by the time I was thinking, now what do I do? Do I run away? Or he was already in the kitchen. He came and smashed my head against the wall. And I fell down. Actually, I didn't even feel any pain. I fell down. It's like I switched off. It's like I passed out and I started nose bleeding. So the kids, we used to have, I normally help children, those who are orphans and needy kids. That's my passion. That has been my passion since I was young, because I think it's because of my background. I also feel for kids who are less fortunate. So I had 3 kids already, 3 boys in the house, my son and my daughter. So we were 7 of us plus me and my husband. So these kids woke up because they were big. One of them was in class 7, the other one was in class 6, the other one was in class 3. So they woke up and they were like, Daddy, what is happening? Please stop beating her. They said, and he used to sit them down. Every time he beats me up, he sits them down and he tells them, this woman is very bad. You don't know her. That's why I beat her, because she's not good. So he told them, and mind you, when I fell down, after smashing my head and then I fell down, he started beating me when I was still on the ground. So the kids had to pull me and put me in the bathroom so that he may stop beating me. And then even my son woke up now, but my daughter was still asleep. She didn't know. She was 11 months old, because it was around in January. And my son was around 6 and a half, 7 years there, because he was in the pre-unit. So when I got my conscience back, and I woke up and I opened the door. Now that time I had a lot of pain because I was still bleeding. I saw my son standing there, right at the door. He thought I'm dead because he could see the blood, the way they pulled me and put me in the kitchen, in the bathroom. So he thought mom is dead. Let me stand here and see who will remove my dead mom from the bathroom. So after a while, I opened the door and he saw me. He was crying and he was young. He was very young. So I could read what was going through his mind, and I picked him up, I hugged him, and I told him, Mommy is not dead and Mommy is not going to die. So I took him back to bed, and so I was asking myself, now who will save me? Who will save me from the hands of this guy? And I decided to, and then this has been happening, and I've not been sharing. A reason, I'm a public figure. I'm a pastor. So how will you tell people that your saved man is beating you up? Number two, my husband was loved by people so much. So he was a people person. So whoever I tell won't believe me. But my mother-in-law used to know everything that was happening and used to talk to him, but he couldn't hear him. Even the sisters, they used to know what was happening, the way he was beating me. But now, the strangers, my family, my church, and whoever, I couldn't share with them. So I told myself, now you have to put up with it because there's nothing you can do about it. And that's how I came to just to get used of it. So 2006, the same year, around August there, he was diagnosed with diabetes. He started going small, and he was diagnosed with diabetes. And from that point, the work he was doing, he left the job. And I guess the reason why he started ailing, because he got depressed. The girlfriend left him, and she took away the car. So he started getting depressed, and the money, the money that was being sent, it was no more. So he started ailing, and now I became the breadwinner, the everything. But still, he was still beating me. That didn't change anything, because again now you want to instill fear in me, so that I may know as much as he's not working, he's still the man of the house. So 2007, I decided, let me look for my dad. Maybe I might get a blessing out of this. And I decided 2007, I looked for my dad, and we reconciled with my dad. And he became my best friend. I used to share with him and used to tell me, I used to beat your mom, but that is not right. I feel I was doing bad, but your husband should not do that. But of course he couldn't do much because he can't accommodate me to his house. He had another wife already. But I made them come together, even with my siblings and my mom. They used to talk, they used to visit one another. That is in 2007. So, but my dad couldn't help much. He wasn't safe at that point, at that time. And my husband was still very sick. So that day he hit me and I fell on the ground. 6 months after, I started having, 3 months, I started having twitch on my left lid eye, my left lid. And by the time, by 6 months, now this side was really affected. And remember, this is the side that he hit the wall. So I went to the hospital and they told me that I have so much stress and I need to minimize whatever is happening. I need to work on it because, and they didn't give me even a tablet, one tablet. They told me to go and do exercise and try to work my things, whatever is stressing me up. So after around 2010, it got worsened completely. And that time my husband again, he was sick, seriously sick. So I decided, and I was still working. I was still doing my small jobs, and I was still preaching. I had a church. I still had a church. So 2011, 2009, we started a school in Kahawa West. As much as I didn't manage to go to school, God gave me a gift, and even the English I'm talking today is self-taught. I thank God for that. So I still had a passion. I have so much passion with schools, with pupils, because I felt like this is what I missed, and it is something that kept on ringing in my mind that I need to do something. I didn't know what it is. That's why I started schools, so that I can help other children here who are not, who are still also going through the same thing I was going through. I actually did my KCP this year. As you can see, this is my result slip. I did my KCP this year because I decided to rebuild my life back after the death of my daddy last year. I felt now I need to build myself up. I need to recover everything that was stolen by the enemy in my life. And I actually built my mom a house, a nice house. And from the Matope house she used to live, I built her a very nice house. And at least I reconciled them with my dad. My dad used to visit home. My mom used to visit his place, although he was married. And so 2009 we started a school. Then 2011 I found another school in Nyeri. It was a school that went down. Then the owner was ready to lease it out. So I sold out the one in Kahawa West, and I went to open another one in Nyeri. So 2011, that's when we went in Nyeri. I went with my family, my associate. I left the church with my associate pastor, because when we went to Nyeri, I opened another church within the school building premises. So when we started that school, my husband was still ailing too much, but the school was doing so well. So by 2013, my husband was again diagnosed with prostate cancer, because diabetes has a way of affecting males, whatever, so they are not active, and that's what David made him get the problem. So after that, life was not easy for me, because now here I'm the only sole breadwinner. I have a school, and the school is so demanding. The school business is so demanding. For those who are in that business, they understand what I'm saying. And it's so involving. So I used to teach, I used to manage the school. I have teachers, I have non-teaching staff, I have bills to pay, I have everything. So I had even loans from various banks, 3 banks actually. So, and my husband is sick, and he's still violent. Actually, he became so insecure after that incident. He became so insecure. And so he used to beat me, abuse me. He wanted to reduce me. His target was to make me small and not to think that I'm anything. So I'm having stress on in my business. This one is, my husband is giving me stress. And a time came when he got seriously sick. That was in 2015, and he was hospitalized all the time, in and out. He's in the hospital. So and the school was doing well, because 2015 is when we did our first KCP, and we actually did so well. Our pupils really tried. We were among the top 10 in Nyeri County, and that was our first exam. But then we were eating in this business, everything, school fees, everything, even his medication. it was coming through the school fees that I was getting from the parents. So the business was shaky, not doing so well. I'm not able to service my loans. So it wasn't easy. So when 2016, the owner of the land said he want his land back, and they said he terminated the contract because there was a clause, as we were doing the lease agreement, there was a clause that was saying that after 5 years we can revoke the contract, so that I can either partner with him or continue renting the premises. So we were to put it on hold first before we proceed with the next year, which was the 6th year. So he took advantage of that clause, and he revoked the agreement. So I came back from Nairobi. My husband was still ailing. We had started clinics in Kenyatta, and found a letter under my office door, which I was summoned to go and see his lawyer because we were to terminate the contract. At that point, we had so many newcomers because of how we performed, and now I was confused. I don't know what to do. So, and after 2 days, I called in for a meeting for all the parents, and I told them what is happening. So within 1 week, they had removed their kids from my school, even the boarders and all that. It was so painful. It was so painful. And within 2 weeks, my school had gone down completely. So I had given out some checks, post-dated checks, because I used to do my supplies in advance. I used to buy cereals, kuni, advertisement and all that in advance. So I used to give out the checks, and then I pay after the schools open. So this time now the school has gone down, and I have guys who still have the checks. So one of them who had given us the firewood for the whole year, it was about 80,000. He had deposited the check, and the check bounced, and he went ahead and sued me. So they were to wait up to 3 months so that it can be a criminal offense. So that's what happened. After 3 months, they started looking for me to arrest me. And by that time, one of the boys that we used to stay with was killed by that. They were trying to snatch his boda. He was working as a boda rider, and they wanted to take it away from him. So they killed him so that they can steal it from him. And so as I was going to pick my daughter, because when the school went down, my family members refused to accommodate me. My in-laws refused to accommodate me, and they chased me away with my kids. So I didn't have a choice. I had to give them out. My daughter went to Nairobi. There's a school of my friend called Sharon Schools. His name is Kehage. He gave my daughter a scholarship, and then a friend of mine who is a bishop, he has a school in Thika called Blue Ribbons, also accommodated my son who was in 4th form. And then this other boy, my foster son, he went to live with one of my church members. So this time he's killed. I'm going to pick up my daughter from Narumoro so that she can come and bury her brother, because they found them at the time she was born. The boys were already in the house, so she thought they are blood brothers, and she loved him so much. So I went as I dropped in Nyeri town, I found police waiting for me, and they were ready to arrest me. I asked them, what have I done? He told me, you will know when you get to the station, you will know what has happened. So when I got to the station, I found that guy there. He was a family friend. I found him seated, and I asked him, okay, so you are the one? He said, yes, and you know that I'm a man. So I called up. I asked them permission to call a few people. So I called one of the pastors, and the pastor came, and my friend pastor told me I have a check of 40,000. Let me come with it. So he came with a check and asked the guy, and I told the police, tell him to wait because someone is coming to pay him. And he waited. So when the guy came with that check, he said, no, I can't take that. I want my full amount, 80,000 plus interest of 4 months from November to March. So the pastor told me, now, Pastor Jane, get ready to go to court tomorrow, and then we'll see what to do. So he organized for a lawyer who came the following day to court. He found me in the cell, and he told me, now, when you are called in and asked if you know about that check, say no, because we want them to give you a bond so that you can case when you are outside the jail. So that's what I did, and after that I was taken to court cell, hoping that someone will come and bail me out. But unfortunately, there was they said the file, when my friends came, he said the person who was in charge of my case said that the file, they cannot see the file, they don't know what has happened. So it reached to a point that I had to be taken to jail. I went to jail, my friends contributed, and they came and bailed me out. So life in jail, it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't easy for me because I have a child in mortuary. My husband is sick. My other kid, my daughter doesn't know that the brother is dead. My son is confused because the school that he used to be was a classy one, and now he's in a place where, actually that's where depression started, my son. And he got into drugs from that point. So yeah, so the family was not accommodative, so I was not even able to mourn my foster son because I didn't have a place to mourn him, because the lady who had accommodated me, she told me, I can only accommodate you, you are my friend, but I can't accommodate your husband or your kids. So I had to leave my husband with my in-laws, and my kids, I spread them too. So even when we were mourning, we were to bury this son. Now, all those who are running through my mind, I'm in jail, I don't know what to do. I feel like the world is against me, and I don't know what to do. But I thank God for friends. Thank God for friends. They came through for me, and I was bailed. And I remember when I had my name called, because when you get to jail, they don't call you by your name. There's a number that you are given, your admission number. That is the number they call you with, and that number is stamped in everything that you have. The jail clothes, the bowl that we used to eat, because you are given a bowl, an aluminium bowl. That's where they stick your name. So if you lose that bowl, if that number is erased, so then you can't eat, because that is your name. So when they called my name, my number, I felt like I've gone to heaven, because I knew that now it's my time out. So I was released from jail. I went back to Nairobi. I buried my foster son. So their friends were my Facebook friends, because so many friends tagged my friends to tell them that I'm in trouble. And that's how they managed to raise that money. And one couple from UK, they were my first group. I've never met them. They decided to do something for me. And so when I came out of jail, I was given back my clothes, my everything, because you get to jail without anything of yours, including panty. You get there without anything. So they gave me back my things and my phone. So the first message I saw is that, what can we do for you? So I called them back and I told them, the only thing I want right now is to settle with my family. I want my family back. And my kids, within a few weeks, they'll be home. So for holiday, for April holiday. So if only I can get a place where my family will now come back together. So they rented me a house, and they furnished, they bought everything, and I thank God for them. So when I came back to Nairobi, I called them, when they settled me down. Now I called my husband, because now my in-laws didn't want to see me. So I called my husband and I told him, you know what, we've gotten a place, so please plan to come over and stay with us, because now we have a home. Even when the kids close school, they will come home. So, and he was happy. He called his friends and he told them, now my wife has gotten a place, so at least I'll be near church. He used to fellowship in Deliverance Church. So when he came, he didn't come that very day, so he came like 2 days after. And when he came, I was in the bathroom, and I left the door open so that he can come. He used to know Zimmerman, so when I told him where the house is and the number of the house, so he just came straight to the place. So when he got in and he found that we have beautiful seats, we have TV, and our house is well furnished. For him, although I don't bring him much, but for him, he thought maybe I have a man. I'm being unfaithful. And he was so furious. He told me, I was in the bathroom and I heard him say, sasa umeanza umalaya. Now, what have you become? What have you become? Where did you get all these things? This is from a man. I felt so bad. And remember, I was also depressed. I'm just like a week old from jail. My son died. I have no one I can tell or I can share my feelings. It was so hurting. So I felt so bad, and I said in my heart, this man will not beat me anymore. Because we used to go to places, to plots, and he used to beat me. Then we shift from that plot because of shame. We go to another one. And then now we are here just few days. And then he has come to do this to me. I said in my heart, he's not going to beat me anymore. So I decided to put water in the bucket, and I said, if he tried to hit me, I will pour this water, and then I ran away. I'll splash him with this water. So I told him, you know what, Daddy? I used to call him Dad. I told him, Daddy, you know what? From today henceforth, you will never ever hit me again. So he didn't, I don't know, I think it didn't sink in his heart of what I was saying. So he told me, and I got out of the bathroom, I went to the bedroom, and I changed, I dressed up. So when I was coming out of the bedroom, because he was looking for a man in that house. So I found him, he was holding a small speaker, woofer speaker. And he was ready, he hit me with the speaker on the head. So I forgot that I was to flush him with the water. And I picked up the padlock, and I decided now I'm going to lock him in here. then I go call the police so that he can be locked up in prison, so that he will never beat me again, because I didn't know how well I can protect myself. So as I was trying to lock the door, he pulled my hand from outside, and so I was not able to lock the door, and I dropped the padlock, and I ran away. So he told me, as he was chasing me, he told me, I want to tell you that this Zimmerman, I will spoil your name, I will tarnish your name, and no one will ever respect you. And for sure he did. He went to church, Deliverance Church. They used to respect me so much, but he went there and he told them that he has found me with a man in the house, in my new house, and we've beat him up. We wanted to kill him. So of course, because he used to minister there, they will believe him. Me, I had my church, so, and we were not serving together with him. He refused to support me in the ministry. So many people didn't know me in Zimmerman. And so when they heard what he said, they believed him. They believed him. And for sure, up to date, there are people who cannot even say hi to me. Even though for those who knew me in Deliverance Church, just only a few who came through for me, and may the Lord bless them. May the Lord bless Pastor Wangombe, Councillor Mary, Samson, Kate. There are people who helped me, but the rest, because people used to love my husband and they used to believe him, and he had silenced me. He has reduced me to nothing, totally nothing. So I decided, actually, after that incident, I decided now I can't even open a church, because this guy has really tarnished my name. But unfortunately, because of that commotion, I think, 2 days after, he got sick, really sick. And he called me. He told me that since he left there, he has not left out his bed because he's sick. I went there, I went home. As much as my in-laws didn't want to see me, I decided, let me risk whatever they do to me, I don't care, because they used to beat me also. I remember after he was admitted to Kiambu, I picked him. I went there, I picked him, and I called one of his nephew. He had a car, and we took him to the hospital, Kiambu Hospital. When the in-laws learned, because that time I was picking him up, they were not there. When they learned that I have picked him up and he's in Kiambu, they came and beat me up in the hospital, and they said, you have nothing to do with him. You almost killed him the other day with your men. So can you leave him alone? And I said, I didn't do that. So I used to cry, but I had no one to listen to me. So unfortunately, he went down. My husband didn't leave the hospital again. He just, 2 months after that, he was referred to Kenyatta in May 2016 because he started having deep wounds on both legs that had maggots. Maggots were running on the sheets. And so the hospital called me, and I had a case in court. So remember, I'm going to court. I have children. My girl, when she came for holiday, for April holiday, and learned that the brother died, she didn't go back to that school in Arumoro anymore. And I didn't have money to transfer her. So she was still in the house. So I'm taking care of my kids. And my son had just, he was doing his KCSE that very year. So I'm here stressed. I don't have a job. At least I have a house. But I didn't have a job. My husband is sick. He's admitted. So I had also, again now, to look for ways, call friends so that they can support me, and so that I can be able to support my husband. I supported him fully, because the hospital warned my in-laws never to step there again. So I was the one who was doing everything. In May, he was transferred to Kenyatta. Then we went again to Kenyatta. In July, 26th of July, That's when my husband passed on. Again, I was stressed because I had no one to help me. I called the family when he died, and I told them that what has happened, and I asked them if there's anyone who can come and help me take him to the hospital. To the mortuary, because he was in Kenyatta, and I felt it's good we transfer him to a better mortuary. So they refused. Again, I took care of him. I took him I took a hearse. My sister came. I took a hearse. We took him to the mortuary, Chiromo mortuary, and I signed everything. I didn't know it was for my own advantage, because if I didn't have that chance, I couldn't bury my husband. Because that very day when I took him to Chiromo, and I used still to communicate with my in-laws, and I tell them everything that I'm doing, they told me, remember, every coin you receive from your friends, you bring it here, and you should tell all your friends. Kumbe, when I left my husband in the house, they picked his, they knew he will die, but me, I didn't think about his death. So they took all his number, all his phone contacts, and they saved. So when my husband died, they called all his friends, and they told them, Maombolezi is done at my mom's in-law, and any coin, any contribution should be taken to my mom-in-law. So I was like, why are his friends are not calling me? What is happening? Kumbe, they had planned it earlier. So, and they told me I should not step in that house. I'm not going to mourn him because I'm the one who have killed him. So we were mourning alone in the house with my children, with no one to comfort us. So because even the church, they were told that I almost killed him with a man, and they believed. No one took the initiative to come and sit down and listen to my side. They judged me, and that was it. So during the burial day, a day before the burial, the one who was chairing the meetings, the Maombolezi meetings, was one of my church members when I had a church in Kawa West. So when he saw the eulogy and whatever was discussed there, he called me the following day. He told me, you know what, Pastor? You and your children are not included in the eulogy. And he told me the eulogy, the one who is preaching that eulogy is at this place, and this is his number. So go there, please check and decide on what to do, because I think this is unfair. So I went, I found the guy who was doing the eulogy. I carried my wedding photos. I went there and I told the guy, you have eulogy for Julius? He said yes. I told him Julius is my husband, and this is our wedding photos. He was shocked because what he was reading there was not what I was telling him. I told him, give me the paper. I wrote my eulogy. I wrote what is supposed to be done, and I included them also. And I told him these are the photos. They had only given their photos, their family photos, but I told him you should add this and this and this and this. And what you do, print one copy, take it to them, tell them if they are not going to abide with what is written here, then there is no burial tomorrow, because no one can give them the body. I'm the one who signed it. So what they did, they went to the chief and they reported the matter, and the chief asked them to show him the eulogy copy. So when he saw our wedding photos, he was like, so these guys are married? And they said, yes. You see, this woman is so sly, is very sly, and we don't know how they did this wedding. And remember, my father and my father-in-law and my mom-in-law are in the photo, and even my sister-in-law. So the chief told them, you know what, the government knows this lady. If they did a wedding, then they know this lady, not you. So I will advise you, you go sit her down and at least convince her. Make sure, I don't know what you're going to do, but you need to bring her on board so that that body will be released tomorrow. Otherwise, she has all the powers. So they didn't have a choice but to look for me. And I went, we sat down, and I told them, Mimi, what I want is peace. I don't want anything else but peace. They agreed. That is the eulogy that will be read at the burial. But we went pick the body the following day. After I signed the release of the body like this, after that the attitude changed and they didn't want to see me. At the burial site, I was like a stranger like any other. We were strangers. The burial was theirs and their son. Although they read my name and my children, but I was a nobody in that burial. So I didn't have a choice but just to be quiet, cry, mourn, and that was all. So one day after, the burial was on Thursday, and Saturday I told my kids, let's go there. I just want to know, why do these people hate me so much? So I went, I sat them down. They thought that I'm going for the money that remained after the burial. So I sat them down and I told them, now that the person who connected us is no more, I want us to have peace. So, and that's when they opened up and they told me, it is my husband who used to give them bad report about me. And now, because I've come to ask for forgiveness, or even we clear the air together and mend the faces, so they said now it's okay. It's okay. It can remain like that. So we've been friends until when I learned what happened to my children. Inanipatia memories zingine yake. Sitakangi kuuza hiyo pati ya watoto wangu. Inafanyanga nisikie vibaya sana. Because why would he do that to my children? Where did I go wrong? Yeah. Ni sawa, acha tufikishe hapo. Memory zingine zinakuanga mbaya. Lakini zitakujaisha tu.
The burial went on well. It was on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, I went to see my mom, and I told them, whatever came in between us, please, let's forget about it, because the one who had connected us is now gone. and it's not good we live like strangers or enemies. So we cleared the air and we decided, let's now live as friends. And throughout that time we have been like that until when my daughter joined Form 1. And my son, after that, he went to college, but he couldn't cope. Both of my children went into depression, total depression, the deep one. So, and I didn't know why. Now my son had lived with this fear of what the father did. He was sodomized. And he developed, there are things, I think, I don't know if it's hemorrhoids or what, but there are things that grew in through that line. And he used to live in pain. And so he got into depression, he got into drugs. Now my daughter is here now. When she joined Form 1, now she started cutting herself. My children started going down the hill. I didn't know what to do. So I came to learn later, which is early this year, when my daughter tried now to kill herself. That day she woke up, she decided to cut her wrist, a very deep cut. And then and she went to the toilet, she drained the blood in the toilet. When she saw that she didn't die, she came, I used gabapentin 6, that time I was using 400 mg, right now I'm using 600 mg because of the migraine and this condition that I have. And she took 30 tablets of my medication. Then she didn't die. She decided to go and hang herself. Now, and she got admitted. Actually, here is her summary discharge. She got admitted at Oasis Health specialty. It's a mental hospital. So this was 2 months ago when she was there. But before she got admitted, she told me something, because she has been working with therapists. Even my son, they have been working with a psychologist. And so before she did that, she had said what happened to her. Kumbe, my husband still was molesting my girl sexually. And one time when she was young, I remember I was going to bury. One of my neighbors had lost a relative, and I was going for the burial. So, and I forgot my camera at home. And I decided to go back home and pick my camera. It wasn't far where we were going to bury. So my husband said, we are not going together, let me be left here with the baby. And I said, it's okay. So when I realized that I have left my camera and I went back home, I went straight to the bedroom. I found my husband kneeling down. My daughter was naked and she was in bed, and he was kneeling down. So it's like he was sucking her private parts. So, but I didn't see it clear. So I wasn't sure about it. But I went and shared, after the burial, I went and shared with the sister, and I told her, my sister-in-law, I told her, I think my husband is doing something with my daughter. That time she was young. She was around 1 year and a half. So from that point, I decided, because he used to insist that he wanted to wash my daughter, and I didn't know why. I thought it's father's love, but I didn't know he had other motives. So from that point, I told him, you'll never wash my daughter, because I asked him, what are you doing? He said, no, I'm washing the baby, because the water was there. And I said, okay. But I decided from that point I'd be washing my daughter. Actually, I used to wash her in the evening, because the following day I'm going to work, so that during the day she will be okay, then I wash her again in the evening. But he used to wash, even if I wash her in the evening, the following day in the morning he will wash her, because he wanted to admire her private parts. So I decided now, I told the sister, so the sister went and asked him. When she asked him, he was so furious. He said, you know, this woman is a devil, and I told him, one day he will land me into trouble, because he's so evil-minded. She's so evil-minded. So, and he beat me up. That time, he when he heard from the sister, he came home and beat me up. So it's like now I was silenced and I didn't know what to do. So, but after I decided now to quit the job I was doing, and I decided let me just be at home, so that, but again he was not working and I was the only breadwinner, so I'll do business from kidogo kidogo. So one time I was watching my daughter during the day, and she asked me, that time she was around 1 year, 10 months. She was talking. The kids start talking when they're still very young. So she asked me, Mom, why don't you put your tongue here like what my dad does? I was shocked. And from that point, I started telling him, you are doing something that is not okay. I told him what the daughter said. And you see, she's young, so when he can't beat her, but he said, now you believe what this is just a child. You're also a child like her. How can you believe such? So me, from that point, my instincts were not right, and I said, if I walk away from this marriage now, people will think that I've left a sick husband, because that time he was very sick. But I was now very, very keen on what he's doing, and it's like he stopped for a while. But when the girl grew up, now she started going to school, he started now instilling hate in her, to hate me. My daughter started, her mood changed, her attitude changed. She was like, now she's not, she doesn't love mommy. She used to tell people, I hate my mother is not good. Until when she grew up to date, this is now the time that when she before she was admitted is when she shared what was happening, because when he knew that now my daughter, we have no good relationship, now he started taking, but by that time he couldn't do much, because you know what diabetes does to people. So what he was using is the fingers and kiss. So that's what all my daughter can remember. But so it happened that when my daughter shared that, she felt so ashamed of herself, and that's why she was trying to kill herself by all means. And so when my son came, when my daughter got admitted and my son came, my son does art. He has a shop, an art gallery. He's an artist. He does like now that photo. I will tell you about it and the message in that photo. That's what he does. So when he heard that the girl is admitted, he came home and he asked me, Mom, what is happening? Why is my sister trying to kill herself? And I decided to share. I told him what happened. My son cried. He cried. He said, no. He cried for hours. It was at night. We didn't eat. We cried together. We cried. And he told me, Mom, you know what? There's something that I also need to share. And I was so scared. It's like, now, what again? He told me, you know what? Dad used also to sodomize me when he went to Bible school. He used to sodomize me. Actually, right now, I have things that are growing in my anus. I was shocked. I felt like I don't know. I broke down. I screamed. I wished I can go to that grave and wake him up and get him explain all this. But unfortunately, I can't do that. So I told my son, now you need to start therapy again. For him, he had recovered, because after he got into drugs and all that, and he also tried to kill himself so many times. So, and after sessions, he recovered, and he started doing his own things. He went back to college, he did art, and he opened his shop, and now he's totally recovered. So this time I told him, now that cry is not good. You need to start session with them. So we started family sessions. Now all of us, we are depressed. We started family sessions. After my daughter was discharged, we started now family sessions. So, and early this year, I also got worse, because that's when now my daughter showed me true colors, and I saw now she's going to kill herself, and I don't know what I will explain. I tried to bring her closer, but because of the seed that was planted, my daughter was still pushing me away. So I got so depressed, and this condition, which I've been taking medication, very strong medication, that are really affecting me. I tried neurosurgeons here in Kenya. They told me they cannot help me. And early this year, I decided, now let me look for doctors. My neurosurgeon advised me to look for doctors outside the country, because now here it can't be done. These are a surgery that needs to be done. My fifth nerve and the seventh nerve, both of them are compressed by a blood vessel. So when he hit me on the wall, my vein, the blood vessel moved and compressed two of my nerves. So early this year, in March, I started now sourcing for doctors outside the country, and I landed to one who is very skilled, competent in microvascular decompression surgery. He's in Pittsburgh, USA. This is the letter. We did several telemedicine clinic. We did 3 of them, and they told me I have a severe compression, and it is worsening because I can't work. I have migraine. I normally have migraine, which makes me even have blackouts on the street. And the medication that I'm taking, they are affecting me. Like now, I was discharged 2 weeks ago from the hospital, from Coptic Hospital, as you can see, because the medication I'm taking, it is damaging my lungs. I was told it is damaging my lungs. I wish you can be able to see this. As you can see, one of my lung is very, very squeezed. Is very small. So and they told me some of these medications can affect kidneys, can affect lungs, or liver. So I was admitted there, and so this issue is bringing a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and I'm not able to work. I'm a single mother, a widow, and I don't know what to do, and that's why I'm here. I'm pleading for anyone who can help me get this money, because as you can see in this letter, the deposit they are asking for is $43,600. That is equivalent to 4.7 Kenyan money. And there's no hotel fee, there's no ticket, there's nothing. So the total amount that is needed is about 6 million. So please, I'm begging you, I'm praying that if you are there and you can spare the little you have to help me raise this money, please help me, because my condition is worsening and I don't know what to do. My kids are still depressed. As much as we are trying to do the therapy sessions and trying to cover from whatever happened, I still have this condition which is really messing me up, because I can't work, I can't do anything. So that's why I'm here. I will share my number, my mobile number. I have 2 of them. You'll see them down here, and I also have a pay bill. Please help me. And if God can touch you and you pay for me this money, if you have this money and you can pay for me, then you ask me to do any work for you, I will do so that I can get this money. I'm so desperate right now. This surgery was supposed to happen in June 15th. But until now, I'm not able to get that money. The money I got, the little I got, and my daughter was hospitalized. I was also hospitalized. And now we are, it's like everything that is happening is involving money. Please help me where you can, and God will bless you. God will bless you. Yeah, so far we can't complain because we are still alive. Like as I was talking about, I'm trying. I want to get back on my feet so that I can still rebuild my life. Like now, as you can see here, this is my KCP result slip. I did my KCP this year. This is Nganga Jane Wanjiko. You can see this is the Kenya National Examination Council. I'm willing to go back to rebuild my life back. I've tried so much to rebuild my life back. Even my family, like my dad died last year, and I made sure before he died, we reconciled. I reconciled my family. I tried, even my mother, to remove her from the poverty, and I built her a house. A small house, but a nice one. Because I'm trying to rebuild my life. I have so many people who are depending on me. So please, if you can help me, if God can touch you and you help me to get this money, I will truly appreciate. God bless you so much. And I'm really waiting to hear your calls. I'm waiting to see your SMSs. I'm waiting to see your response. And let me tell you, God will surely bless you. Thank you so much. And God bless you for being here and listening to my story. Thank you. What my husband did, because of what he used to do to my kids, he didn't want us to connect at all. So he tried all means to detach them from me. And so he planted a seed of hatred, so much hatred. But it didn't sink in my son, because for one, he's not his. Number two, he was mature. He could see what was happening to me, and the way he used to beat me even in front of them, and the way he used to tell them that I'm bad for my son. That one didn't sink at all. So when my husband, my son came to realize whom he is and what happened, and he recovered from drugs, I took him to a college, a private college. He did fine art because he has a gift, he's so much talent. Both of them, they're so much talented. And this is what my son does. Like this photo, because of what he has seen all throughout his life, what I've gone through, he decided to come with this picture. This is me. This is me. He said this is me. And as you can see, even my hair, my dressing, my size. And he told me, Mom, you have gone through storms. You have gone through storms in life. But now I feel, this photo he did it a few months ago, like 4 months ago. He told me, now the battle is behind you. As you can see, the storm is behind you now. And the reason why you've made it is because you have a shield who is your God. You can see this red umbrella. He says that's the shield, the word of God that has helped me go through what I've gone through. And then he said the red ribbons, he says it's a sign of the Holy Spirit. He's our guide. So when I lose track, when I'm down and I don't know what to do, the Holy Spirit guides me, and that's why I've not backslidden regarding of what I've gone through. And then he said, now because of the storms that you've gone through, you will become the boots. You can see the red boots. You will become a peace giver. You'll give so many people hope. You will walk to so many people and you'll give them hope through what you have gone through. So, and I loved this piece. This is not one of them. There's another one there. I'll also tell you about it. So, my son is so much gifted. He does so many, he does pencil work, digital work, painting like this one, and concept, everything. He's so much blessed, and I thank God for him. And I call him a prophet because whatever he says, it comes to pass. And I thank God because I know, regardless of the situation I'm in, the storm is now behind me. Yeah, so, and my daughter is also a musician. You can get her on YouTube, Julie.
In the crushing, in the pressing.
My daughter is also a musician, as you can see. She tries to teach me, but no, I'm not good at that. So, but she's so much gifted. You can get her on YouTube. She's her YouTube account is Julie. She has done on one song, a cover song by what do we call it? Anyway, you'll see it there. So yeah, apart from that photo that my son did for me, they are both praying that I get my smile back. And that's when he did this photo for me. This is me, and as you can see, the brighter me. The other one was the dark me, and this one is the brighter me. So he says, I'll get my smile back, and that's why he did this sketch, and he told me that he will always be loyal. That's why the color, the purple, the loyal color. He said that, Mom, regardless of what you go through, I will still respect you, and I will still love you because you're my mother, and you'll get your smile back. So the other one is my daughter there with me, and I love my children so much. I love them so much, and that's why I have a fighting spirit, because I know that one day we shall testify of the goodness of the Lord. Thank you so much.